We got a guy called Jeff Pearce here, and he's a self-made millionaire with an incredible rags-to-riches story. Let me just tell you a little bit of his story and let him continue. Jeff was born in the Liverpool slums, growing up in the 1950s. His father spent his earnings in the pub and lived the life of Riley, quote-unquote, while Jeff's mum was forced to steal bread to feed her starving children. From the moment Jeff could walk, he had to go door to door begging rags from the rich, which he sold at the markets with his mother. Now, despite leaving school at the age of 14, Jeff worked hard and became so successful in the rag trade that he made his first million before his 30th birthday. And then something else happened. We'll find out what happened next with Jeff Pearce, and it's all in a book called A Pocket Full of Holes and Dreams. So, first of all, how did you make all of those millions? You literally came up from rags, didn't you?
Yeah, but I think it was my mum who taught me how to make money at a very early age, because we had to make money for mum, because Dad wasn't tributing. We had to make money for mum. So she'd find us all kinds of jobs. So we became sort of little entrepreneurs at a very, very early age.
How old would you have been when you were little entrepreneurs?
Well, I remember being on a market stall with my mum from the age of 5.
No.
Yeah, sitting on a market stall. I mean, mum would leave me while she went to the toilet. I went and done a bit of shopping or something, and I'd have to get on with it, little kid. And I soon learned the spiel that my mum used to say, come on, ladies, a shilling on the table and a tanner on the floor. And I was a young little urchin, but I was good at it, and I learned very quickly.
So then, talk me through from when you were 5, 6, working in the markets, up to when you started to become successful.
Well, what happened was I left school at 14, and my mum got me out of school at 14 instead of 50, and because I couldn't read and write, she went to the headmaster and said to him, Jeff's struggling with his reading and writing, can we let him leave a bit early, because I found him a job. So the headmaster said, yeah. So I went as a TV engineer. It sounded great, but really I was a gopher. Go for this and go for that,
Yeah.
And I was ambitious, I was frightened in the big wide world because I couldn't read and write, and I couldn't even write my own name.
So now, how were you able to become successful in the rag trade first time round without being able to read or write?
Yeah, I know. It was a nightmare. My mum was my writing hand. If I needed help, my mum was there. And my mum died when I was 21 years of age. And it broke my heart because she was my best friend, and she was the only one that understood me. And what happened, I was very, very upset, but 2 or 3 years later, I met a beautiful young girl called Gina, and we fell in love, and she became my writing hand.
Right.
We decided to go into business together, and our life savings was £300. So what we did, we got a market stall in Liverpool, but this time we sold fashion clothes for girls,
right,
not second-hand rags, right? We became the best market traders there were in Liverpool at that time, selling fashion. So we fell in love, we got married, and we wanted our first shop. And there's a great story. I call it the 3 wise men. I wanted a shop in the high street. I was ambitious. So I found this shop right in the middle of Liverpool, Church Street, next to all the multiples, and I wanted it, the lease. So I went to see the 3 educated people I knew to help me. One was the bank manager, one was my accountant, and the other one was my solicitor, because we just bought our first house. And I thought, these are the 3 men who'd been to university, and they were educated, and they would guide me and help me. I went along to the bank manager, and I said to him, I've seen this shop, I want to get it. I've got £5,000 saved up as a deposit for the lease. I need to borrow £15,000. Will you lend me the money? The answer was no. You're a good market trader. You'll never be able to compete with the big boys. My suggestion to you is you do not go for that lease.
Wow.
I walked out of there, went to see my accountant, asked him the same question, and my accountant said to me, Jeff, you're a very good market trader, but you're never going to be able to compete with the big boys in the high street.
Which makes you even more determined, of
yeah,
course.
So he said to me no, and my solicitor then said to me, there's no way you can sign that lease. It's a 20-year lease. You're going to be tied in for 20 years. So my advice is no. So that night, as a young couple, married, with no children at that time, we went for our evening meal to Gina's parents. And we sat there, and they asked me how I got on that day. And I told them that. They all said no. So Gina's dad said to me, what do you think, Jeff? And I said, I know I can do it. I really do know I can do it. So he said to me, right. He went to behind the clock, and there was a brown envelope. And that day, he just received the deeds for the mortgage on his house. He just paid off his mortgage after 25 years. And he gave me this envelope and said, tomorrow, go back to the bank and ask them for the £15,000 on the strength of those deeds. which we did kindly take him up on his offer. And what happened, within 4 years of getting that lease, Gina and I were millionaires.
Wow.
And the interesting thing was, the accountant was still my accountant, the bank manager was still my bank manager, the solicitor was still my solicitor. So all that education, in my opinion, meant for nothing.
Yeah. But there is another kind of sting in the tail, and we're not going to tell it you, because you have to look at the book. Jeff lost it all again. Lost all the money again, and then built it all back up again. How did he do it? And then Jeff learns to read and write, and everything's cool. But is there a happy ending? Well, A Pocket Full of Holes and Dreams by Jeff Pearce is out now in paperback and is published by Michael Joseph. It's an inspiring story. Thank you very much, Jeff. Really nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Good chat. Great chat.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you for having me.
Good. It's very quiet, isn't it?